I think that, it's always easier when you have one common standard. This is not unlike the OBD2 port that's in every automobile. Every car maker uses the same connection port so that, diagnostics can be performed. Similarly, most AC plugs where they go into the back of your device are one of 3 different major styles. So I think that, it's about time that we kind of unified, how we're charging our smaller devices. Nobody wants to have 4 different chargers. I think that Apple's comment that's going to create a mountain of e-waste, I think, is really not, it's not really valid, because no one's going to throw out their existing device because it doesn't have a USB-C connector. They're going to, when they upgrade, the new phone will have a USB-C connector, and that's what they'll use. So, I mean, I think Apple's saying, oh, we're going to lose, I think they're trying to protect their profits.
Right.
And I think that this e-waste is just,
a lot of people are looking at Apple's response and saying, can you really successfully fight this? Because they actually already changed to lightning chargers back in 2012 and actually moved USB-C cables for its iPad Pro, already used by Samsung's Galaxy S9, Google Pixel, and the OnePlus 6. So what happened to all the chargers that people had to throw away the first time? Where was that concern from Apple then?
Exactly. And the fact of the matter is that the charger is probably the most recyclable thing of all. It's copper and wire, and it's almost 100% can be recycled. So there's no e-waste that's going to be generated from the chargers. So I just really feel that that's not really a valid thing. And I don't think they're going to win. I mean, if the EU says, hey, it's this or you can't sell your phones in our countries, I don't think they're going to have a choice.
So then give people an idea, just how much electronic waste has the world accumulated since smartphones came on the scene?
Well, actually, our electronic waste is going down. If you think about it, a 200-pound television set is the same as 400 smartphones. I mean, our devices are getting smaller and lighter. So while the number of devices is increasing, the amount of pounds of e-waste is steadily decreasing. And also the quality, if you will, of the e-waste. So the smartphones are, one, repurposable if they're wiped or whatever, and then if you, process them correctly and shred them, you're going to get a lot of the materials right back out of it again. So again, it all goes right back into, raw materials to make the next device.
So for a lot of people who are wondering, where does this waste go? Once we sort of ditch our phones or drop them in one of those recycling, like where does that electronic waste actually end up for the most part?
So in the United States, there are recycling centers throughout the country, and any time that it's like a city or county or any type of event where you're dropping off your electronics, you're certain that those electronics are going to a place that's going to process it properly. And so, we shred things, we take things apart, and we separate the components, and we send them down the different recycle streams. So nothing really goes to waste. Electronics is one of the most recyclable things that there are. So we're really very good at our particular facility, we are a zero landfill facility. Nothing that comes through our door winds up in a landfill. So, throughout the United States, there are plenty of places for people to take off their devices. And most people just call their local township or whatever, what do I do? And they direct them to facilities like ours who can help them.
And what about the electronic recycling industry? How is that being handled in the African continent specifically? We know there's been some issues about disposal and some of the health-related risks.
Well, exactly. I mean, anytime we have, an emerging nation, emerging areas where, suddenly they have these devices that they didn't have before, and then, when they're done, what do they do with them? So I don't know that it's a problem yet. If there are stockpiles of waste in Africa, I think they were brought there from elsewhere at this point. And I think that the people who are selling the devices are pretty good at letting the people know what they can do with their old device. So I mean, yes, whenever they don't have good recycling available, these things could end up, in piles outside somewhere being handled unsafely. And it's my hope that the governments of these countries will be able to stay out in front of this as it develops.
Thank you
using,
so much.
taking the lessons that we've learned, and going forward.